Are you ready for the ultimate bikepacking weekend adventure? Join us for an unforgettable self-supported bikepacking trip through Southwest Virginia. The Grayson Gravel Pie Bikepacking Adventure travels along the Virginia Creeper Trail, the beautiful gravel roads of Grayson County, Virginia, and the New River Trail. All lodging and camping arrangements are included, along with daily routes and guides riding along with you. This self-supported adventure offers resupply opportunities every 20 miles for your food and water needs. Find out more at graveltraveldirt.com.
3, 2, 1. So pro. We got to get the board.
So Pro is the company that I carry from staff.
That's
member.
right. So pro.
No, we should sponsorship. I'm just going to tell them they're going to sponsor us.
It costs $300 per episode.
That's fine.
To sponsor a show. Looking at the man hours and everything that goes into it. Oh, I lost my thing. Okay, you ready?
Yep.
You're listening to Mid-Atlantic Gravel, Travel, and Dirt.
Hi, everybody. I'm Brian.
I'm Johnny Ringo.
And this is episode... I should have come up with a fun name.
You'd be Doc Holliday.
I could be... What was...
That's not a funny name. You ever watch Tombstone?
Yeah. What was in Ricky Bobby? Mike Honcho.
That was my name a while ago, forever.
Okay. Oh, I forgot about that. That's right.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I did. I got disrupted right in the middle. Episode 224 of Mid-Atlantic Gravel, Travel, and Dirt.
After my hiatus.
If you've just been gone a couple weeks. It's a busy season.
Feels like a month.
It's been a busy...
I was approached by national podcasts, and I wanted to keep things Mid-Atlantic.
If you're new here, this is the podcast where Brian and sometimes Joey, we talk about gravel bikes, adventure bike, bikepacking, bike camping. Tonight on this episode, I have an interview that we are going to play a little later that I did earlier. Actually, I did it last week with Ryan Fulton of Transylvania Productions. He's going to tell us all about some of the races, and we're going to talk a little bit about that. Before we get there, though, I got some great discount codes to share on either the Salt Stick website or the JoJ website. When you reach checkout, use the code LOVEYOUBUY, take 20% off all your items. Over at Cutaway USA, use discount code GTD20, take 20% off your order there. If you're in the market for a new hydration pack, check out Orange Mud. Use discount code FF23RAINS, take 15% off your order. I'm going to have all of those discount codes and the links in the show notes. Do we have a crack of the week?
I made an old fashioned.
Is that what
I
saw you making?
Almost the last bit of the Woodford you bought me for Christmas 2 years ago.
Aw, I need to replace that then. I need to
Woodford is some of my favorite.
That's considered a mid tier or a top tier or where does that fall in the?
Oh, I'm not the guy for that.
No,
okay. I drink bottom of the barrel to.
Okay, well,
I've had a $400 bottle of bourbon.
Really?
For me,
wow.
Yeah.
What was that?
Laguna Madre from.
I haven't heard of it.
Laguna Madre from where Texas.
Garrison Brothers.
Garrison Brothers. They just released another round of it. It was $369 or $400 a bottle.
Wow.
I had a version of that 2 years ago. The same night I discovered the honey.
And
that's
Wow. Well, have you still?
Me or my friend Dan did not. His mother-in-law got that for him, knowing we were going fishing. And that was like a gift to us.
Nice. Now, are you still working on that honey? I've still got some of that.
No, my deal I made with Dan is I won't open that up until we see each other.
Oh, okay.
It's been that was our drink together.
That was the drink.
Well,
I was glad I was able to bring that back for you.
I do want to open it up very badly. No, Woodford for me is like mid-tier.
Okay. But it's good, right?
I love Woodford.
Okay. All right.
It's Woodford's got a little bit of like a smokier. Actually, we did like real bourbon testing at fish camp.
Ooh.
Not like real bourbon. It was just a bunch of fish bums. But like we put like, and here goes this podcast. We had like Woodford. We had, I brought like the family size of, man, now I'm having brain farts.
It's okay.
What's the Bullet? Which is actually Bullet. Bullet. We had like I could actually taste the difference finally.
You need to start all of those stories with like one time at fish camp.
One time at fish camp? Yeah.
Every time you talk about fish camp now, that's what it has to be.
Actually, one time at fish camp, my friend Jeremy was walking by. He's the guy that had a mustache, and that's really, it's been stuck in my head. His nickname turned into Johnny Ringo Tombstone, he looks just like him.
Okay.
To the point, and this was last year, where that nickname has become like nationally known for him.
Really?
In the guiding community, and he's been in articles as Johnny Ringo.
Oh, no.
And my friend Ed and Dennis, who gave him that name this year, I have to show you the picture. The day they floated with him, they got a picture of Johnny Ringo on a shirt that says, "I'll be your Huckleberry."
Oh.
And they all wore it.
That's fun.
That was a long story that is irrelevant to our podcast, but
that's okay. People haven't heard from you in a while.
Yeah, I got a lot.
They need to hear. They need to know these things.
Long story short, crack of the week. I have an old fashioned.
Do we are we back in line to do a podcast again before Grusk, or I can't remember. Yeah. Because Grusk is the end of next week, so we'll have to figure that out because that's like right around the July 4th holiday.
Oh,
thing.
Yeah, but you're a turtle. We'll do it next Wednesday, right?
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
This is the 5th, unless I have to go get Jess's car.
Yeah.
We can figure it out.
Well, we'll figure it out. But we do have one more podcast round before we go to Grusk.
Pre-Grusk.
Okay.
Post-Grusk might be different.
Okay. Because I've been playing with, we talked about this a lot today, back and forth via text. I've been playing with tires. And
I've been playing with you.
Yeah, really, no joke. So I put those Pirellis, the Centruato, is that how they're pronounced? Centruato?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, okay. It's their Gravel H. It's a big 750. So I can clear those on the Otto, but it's close. So I put those on the bike yesterday. Mm-hmm. And then today, I'm like, okay, now I got to get on this bike and actually test all the stuff. And boy, howdy, am I glad that I did. It sounded like straight out of Leave It to Beaver there. Boy, howdy. Boy, howdy, Woody.
You're doing Tombstone, you're doing Leave It to Beaver.
Because, so one of those tires already had one plug in them. And then today on my ride, something cut one of those tires, the rear tire, and it threw all the sealant out of that, put 2 plugs in it. Then not a mile later, and I sent you the picture of this.
Yeah.
A giant screw with the washer still attached. Did you notice that? That it was actually like somebody had tried to seat that, like it was right square in the center of the tire, and it put a massive, massive hole. So
that's a tin screw.
I think it's bigger than a tin screw. That's much bigger than a tin.
Oh no, that is not like what I'm thinking. That is actually a separate washer.
That is a metal. I think it's a metal screw. Like it's giant, whatever it is, and
not as big as the plug.
Nope, not as big as the plug. And so I put the mega plug, the mountains are for mountain bikes, because I still had one of those from the original kit. And when I stuck that in, the head, I've never seen this happen. The Dyna plug, the head popped off and it left the rubber plug in the application device. Have you ever seen that happen before? No? Okay. Well, it's always something new with me.
That's like one out of how many Dyna plugs for you?
I've probably used, I don't know what it is. I probably
use more Dyna plugs than I've sold.
So I went through 5 Dyna plugs today.
In one day.
It's
all in 5-packs, people.
In one day, I went through 5 Dyna plugs and ended up just bagging it and calling it and going home. And then there was also like the front tire was rubbing on the hydraulic cable, and I'm sitting there and I'm like freaking out about it because I'm like, okay, you could eventually rub a hole in that hydraulic cable. And I kept like stopping every few miles and like kind of like pulling the cable and straight out. So needless to say, the 50s are not going to Grusk. So my choice is
32s.
Well, I have some 42s and that's what I took off. I took off the Terravales, but they had a bunch of plugs in them too, and they were kind of done as well. They were tapped out. And when I took those off yesterday, I showed you the picture of this. There was 2, at least they were over an inch long pieces of metal. One of them was in the tire acting as a plug. Another piece of that metal was literally just inside the tire bouncing around. I run over more crap.
Oh, yeah.
What is that?
You can't see.
Is that what it is? No, you can't see some of these little things, like those little pieces of metal.
I don't know. Some of the stuff you ran through on our last ride together.
You think I should?
That was a long ride with the boys, right? So 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was. But we were riding side by side.
Yeah.
And it was just after the rain, and so that always churns stuff
our roads
up.
are really dirty.
Yeah, there was, and it was all Route 4. Everywhere I had a problem was Route 4. So here's my dilemma. Do I get some 47s to throw in there? Because I wanted to use the 50s to give myself a little bit more rubber. We've talked about this before. I'm not a great descender. I like the extra volume. I feel like it gives me a little more stability, more contact patch, and I feel better. And I think when you feel confident, you can actually perform faster. So the 50s are out, and I don't think I want to put 50s back on there. I just don't think I've got the clearance. Because if I had any mud or anything that got caught up in those, it would destroy the fork. Is what it would do. It's what it would end up doing. It would just rip the fork to pieces. So not 50s, but do I get 47s when I have a set of 42 Pathfinders at the house waiting on the wall to go on?
I got 47 Pathfinder Pros. Probably shouldn't have told you that. Yeah. 2. Pathfinders are still a dime a dozen.
Yeah. You can still get Pathfinders, right? Pretty easily?
No,
No,
it's been like that since the fall.
Okay.
Like
that's why I've got 2 of them hanging on the wall.
Yeah, because I ordered a lot, and they trickle in onesie Tuesdays, and they're not around. Other than the S-Works ones, which defeat the Pathfinder for me, because that $50 price point was really tough to beat.
Yeah. I don't know. See, because here's the other thing is in just a few weeks, like 3 weeks, I go for Empire State. And the Otto's going with me for that. And if I put the 47s on there, then maybe I'm going to want to pull those back off again to go to something more roadish, like a 32, which I don't have either. But if I put the 42s on there for Grusk, then I would just leave them on there for Empire State.
Well, remember earlier this year I was riding 47s? And I feel like 47 is such a nice gravel tire, but it didn't do well as a crossover road tire for me.
Yeah, and the 42 does. 42 does.
Like Jess rides 42s all year.
So
there's a big difference for me in the 42 Terravales, Washburns, and the 47s for asphalt and gravel. I'll take the 42s to single track, gravel, road.
Have you ever put a caliper on them and measured them out? Maybe they come out a little bit bigger. They say they're 42, but sometimes that's 43, 44.
I did a couple things on the 47 Terravale Washburns on gravel, and it was amazing. Like blasting single speed with the 47s at Dirty Kitten.
See, so I guess I'm in the position of I'm either buying 2 new sets of tires or just throwing on the ones that I already have.
So what you got on?
I am made of money. So you forgot that, right? You forgot all about that.
All our Patreon.
I am absolutely not made of money. I'm still in a quandary, and I've got a short fuse now for Grusk. Not long, but it did force me to wash the Otso off today. I've gotten into this really good habit. Is when I spit sealant all over the place. I used to be really lazy, and I would not clean my bikes, as you know. Now, when I get home, when I've had a sealant issue, go straight into wash, straight into wash.
Straight to jail.
Yeah, yep, straight to jail, straight into the wash. I don't even get unkidded. I actually spray it down with my alcohol and Dawn detergent, and then just scrub it down, and the sealant just rolls right off. Just rolls right off. So I'd highly recommend that to all of you listeners. Just clean your bikes. Makes your mechanics a little happier too. So I don't think Blake is happy with me under there. I keep kicking him with.
He's actually really quiet tonight.
Kicking him, but I'm sorry, Blake. Sorry, Blake. So that's my dilemma. What would your professional advice be?
Just run the 42s.
Run the 42s? That's what I thought. So I'll swap them out tomorrow. Yeah. What when you were running the 47s on the road, what pressure did you run them at?
Like 40.
See, because I was rolling those 50s.
I run my 32s at 50.
I was rolling those 50s at 35 today.
Oh, yeah. See, on the 40. And I think I was doing I think I did Dirty Kitten at like 30.
Okay.
On the 47s.
How low, a guy my size, how I ride, my riding style, how low do you think I would safely be able to take those 42s?
On gravel?
Yeah. At gravel. Well, consider that Grusk is probably about 50-50.
I would do like 35-ish.
Okay.
Maybe if you do it a little bit more in the rear.
Mm-hmm. Okay. 35 in the front, 40 in the rear maybe?
Yeah, I wouldn't go much lower. I am a little trigger shy I've rolled tubeless tires on a mountain bike like when they were way too low.
Well, I'm
rolled them off the rim.
I'm typically gun shy with that too.
But 35, I'd be confident.
35, 40. I think I've rolled typically.
If you did 40 rear, 35 front.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're about the same.
Okay. Yeah, I'd give it a
My
shot.
47s, yeah, I would go down into low 30s.
I mean, I've already got the 42s. It's dumb to.
And then my 29 or 2 point whatevers, I run like at 20.
But you just said that you have 47s in the shop and they're hard to come by. They're unicorn.
Oh, I wasn't saying. No, I just sold them online while we were talking. Pathfinders are like unicorns. They came out with 700 by 47s this year, which are amazing. I'm still running the Washburn 47s.
Those Washburns, I just took those 42s off, and like I told you, I mean, there was metal inside those tires. Rock
just throw them back on.
Rock solid.
You say you have new Pathfinders in a box
I
too?
have brand new Pathfinders in a box.
Yeah, just throw those on.
That's what I'm. That's it.
Yeah.
It's like, and then I'll keep the 42s on for ESR, and that'll give me a little bit of extra oomph. I'm not worried about going fast at ESR. You want to just because when you typically are riding, you're in a sweep mode, and so you need something to pull you backwards a little bit, and that'll help with that. Okay. All right. Well, thank you for the therapy.
Walked you off the cliff. Talked you off the cliff.
The therapy I needed.
The Gruss Cliff.
Besides, what's going on in the shop? We haven't talked about any
Shop's
shop
busy.
stuff. I know.
Since the last few weeks I haven't been here, it's just been it's been hard to find Joey time in general. It's summer.
Yeah.
Like service is ridiculous. We're going through a lot of stuff. Like like selling, not like we're going through something.
Mm-hmm.
Not like that.
No,
Just been busy.
it's been busy.
Yeah. Just in general shop. Running multiple location bike shop, kayak shop.
Is Solomon's as busy as College Park?
No, we don't. We don't do the same numbers as College Park, but I think we have every month this year so far we've blown it out of the water compared to last year.
Okay, so growth.
Yeah, growth. It's weird to say growth because everything's on sale, so you're doing more money, you're making less money.
Well, you've also got more product to sell than you had probably last year.
We're sitting
or the
really
year
heavy
before.
on inventory, which is good because we can offer people stuff.
With COVID, it was everything was so short.
There's still shortage of stuff. Certain things, certain drop bar bikes or whatnot. There's always different sales. Like I can't keep up with the sales. Like Cannondale, the Synapse is, last 2 weeks ago, like my bike, my gray CR, that model was full pop in one color. The other color was on sale. Customer called today because I sold him a Synapse last week. He's like, hey man, like, the next model up just dropped in price. And I was like, that's only the blue. He's like, no, the gray one's cheaper than the blue one. That's like, there's no consistency.
No.
So like, I can't keep up.
That's got to upset your customers too. Like,
Yeah, it's
that guy.
tough.
Yeah. And then you're dealt with, like, you got to hold the bag on
Yeah.
that.
But, the story of the season is you buy the inventory and then they mark it on sale so you make less money. Sell it, but,
That's what they're doing.
margins
Okay.
are...
And those sales come from the brand. They're not driven by the shop.
yeah.
Because you have to follow what map pricing, right?
Yeah, you're supposed to.
Yeah.
You can just say, hey, no.
Okay.
But then, then you're just going to lose the whole sale.
Yeah. So when they put them on sale from their end, it kind of has to be.
Yeah.
You kind of have to follow.
Yeah.
suit. Ugh.
So that's the name of the game. But, no, we're doing great. It's like I said, it's been very busy.
Yeah.
Staff's been doing awesome. Battle sports have been up and down because we get hit with the smoke. We get hit with the storms. It's been, I
You
lost.
see air quality's back in the crap.
Yeah, we had the smoke. I smelled it today. Being someone with asthma, I feel it a little bit quicker.
It's jumped up to an orange today.
Yeah.
And now I think
gonna get worse
to
tomorrow?
red tomorrow. Yeah.
Super.
Yeah. Super duper.
Yeah.
Thanks, Canada.
So that's been shop life. I think right after the last podcast, I had some guy come in the shop and I thought he was trying to sell advertisements. No, he sold us a paintball package. So I bought the staff paintball day at the paintball park over in 301.
Oh, Southern Maryland paintball.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know
So
that.
he did some like banging. He's like, this is team building. I'm like, no, we're just going to shoot each other. Like,
That's kind of like anti-team
it's
building.
like Thomas overslept the other day. Like, I'm just going to light him up for about 2 minutes, like, and so on and so on. Like, someone messed up a repair and it fell back on, Chris. So Chris is going to light up, Noah. And it's just, yeah. So our team building is going to be go-karts and paintball one day soon.
Nice.
Not at the same time, unfortunately.
I did some work for that guy over there. They got quite the facility
Yeah.
over there in Newburgh, right? Newburgh?
Yeah.
Throw a little love their way. Southern Maryland paintball.
It was a good deal. It was 12 passes for like it was like $130.
Oh, good grief.
Like everything provided. We have to buy paintballs for like $15. I'm like, all right, I'll buy everyone tickets.
Uh-huh.
I was like, buy your paintballs. We're not going to play all day. We'll be sore. like capture the flag, all that good stuff. But
That's fun. That's fun.
Some shop
But
stuff.
I wouldn't call that team building. Shooting each other, I would not call team building.
No.
That's like the exact opposite of it.
No, we've been doing some shop rides when we can. Monday, we did.
You're doing mountain bike rides with the shop kids on Monday, right?
Yeah, they like it.
Boys, shop men. Sorry,
we're shop boys.
people. That's what we have.
We joke. We used to call ourselves City Bike Boys, and now there's actually a group called City Bike Boys. We're not. There is a bike shop called City Bikes, and there's a group called City Bike Boys, and they rent the city bikes and Huck and stuff.
Yeah.
No, we're the shop boys. In Emma, so we're the shop people.
That's what I say. You got to go people. You got to go people.
Yeah,
You
but
can't be shop boys.
generally, I was riding with the boys the other day.
Yeah.
They're all way more advanced than me.
Yeah.
So it's tough. We went out 2 weeks ago on a Monday. I call it the longest, shortest ride. It seemed like time just there's some little warp thing that happened. It was horrible. We were trained this week. It's been so thick in the mornings.
Yeah.
And I like to go in the mornings. They like to go at night. And the evening rides are a little better on the asthma, but with the humidity.
Well, with humidity and in the evenings, you're always got that chance that you're going to get rained out anymore.
But we did a chill loop with a goal of we wanted to hit one section. We did it 2 weeks ago. We wanted to hit one section for Strava segments. And then I wanted to go out for the one section and try to PR it. And then everyone tried to do it. And all of them except for Harrison. And then Ethan, who's, Ethan's 10 years, 12 years, 13, maybe 14 years younger than me, who also has asthma. He's in the middle of the trail. We're halfway through the segment. And I just see him hunching over, taking his inhaler. I felt like I was breathing through a straw. And somehow we all PR'd it. And then we got Noah from randomly and Strava up to top 5.
Oh, score.
We had him take a KOM last week. It's just fun.
Nice.
We do that on the road soon, but
Ah.
Yeah, I got to the parking lot. I felt like I was breathing through a straw.
Ugh.
I could not catch. I'm just hit the inhaler hard, and Ethan's I feel like I'm breathing through a washcloth with his asthma.
Now,
but it was fun. It was worth it.
Tomorrow night is Jubilee Farms, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't even think about the smoke with Jubilee.
Ooh. Yeah, but that's. Well,
I'm not going to take my bike this time. I'm gonna let some of the boys go early. I'm gonna close up at 6. There's only an hour and a half left by the time I get there.
Yeah.
So people want me to socialize, so I'll just socialize.
Yeah. Because you're in demand.
Yeah.
That's right. That's the way to be. That's the way to be.
It's-
I still want to get my mountain bike put back together
Yeah, we got to replace 6 spokes.
at some point. No, just one. Just one spoke. And then the GRX wheels that I took those 50s off.
With the spokes too?
Yeah, spokes on
A
that
lot
one
of
too. What is it with me and wheels and tires? I just
Too many. 99 problems and they're all spokes.
maybe that's a sign. I need to slim
wheels.
down a little bit.
I got 2 spare wheel sets upstairs.
Well, I got wheel spares. I got wheel sets. They just all got broken spokes on.
Oh.
Lord help me if those revolves ever actually break a spoke.
No.
That would be
Jess's wheel exploding anniversary is Grusk last year.
Is she excited about Grusk?
I think so.
Yeah.
I don't know what I'm actually going to do.
Just go ride to the top of the mountain.
I think I'm just going to go play around on my bike, come back, yell at people, heckle.
You should go find a strategic place and take one of your nice cameras and go take pictures of people.
Well, maybe.
That would be a fun thing to do.
I've actually gotten, I've been shooting a lot of films since we recorded last.
Yeah. You
A
told me
lot
about
of
that. You
film.
got that little weird.
Yeah, but I pulled out my 30, regular 35 SLR.
Real one?
Not DSLR, straight old Pentax. Shooting black and white, and I got some Kodak Gold. Maybe I'll take film out there.
It'd be fun.
Yeah.
I
Hipster
you would have loved the weather we had last year. It was all fogged in, and it was.
Oh, that's
all,
my type of weather.
I know. As I say, it's all rainy.
Gray days are the best. I
gray.
love last week. It was overcast, gray, rainy. I didn't get to ride my bike. I lost all that momentum from that first week. I started riding every other morning before work, and then the smoke came, and then shop got busy, and I lost all that momentum. But
Is the smoke thing something we're going to deal with for the entirety of the summer?
I feel like it.
I feel like we probably are, off and on.
I did get one of those, those really big masks with the little filters out here because I was sanding a painted trailer.
Right.
Maybe I'll ride with that.
You should. That would be boss.
It was one of the industrial painters masks.
I like it.
That's what I'll do.
You could be what is that, steampunk? You could be like the steampunk guy on the bike. Yeah.
It'll look like a Gorillaz cover.
Put some leather on.
Johnny Ringo.
That'd be
Yeah.
fun. You want to do Strava Club?
Sure.
Do you have it in front of you? I have it right here in front of me if you need it.
No, I had it up and then we started talking. All right, Strava Club. Well, I would say Strava doesn't matter, but we got in trouble for that before. Keith Mitchell from Purcellville, which I love Purcellville. 125.0.
Cute little town out there in Virginia.
It is. That's where
of the WNOD, right?
I started a lot of my when it was Dirty Kansas training from out there.
Nice.
John Gray from Chesapeake, Virginia, also was my neighbor when I was growing up. Not that John Gray, but another John Gray. 154.1.
Are you sure it's not this John Gray?
Oh, I know my John Gray is not riding bikes. Lisa Boone from Lancaster, Pennsylvania, with 125.9. We were down at 121.1 miles with everyone's summer vacations.
It was the rain too. Last week we had all that
not bad
rain.
though.
Yeah, the rain.
But since our last recording, we are at like 899. We're up to 904.
904.
That's pretty good. Strava.com/club/gravel travel.
Now that you're back for the first time in a couple weeks, that number
they'll go back
down.
It's all the people that wanted me to go national. I said, the Mid-Atlantic is special.
So Ryan Fulton, Transylvania Productions. Like I mentioned earlier, I talked to him the middle of last week sometime. He is the owner and the race director at Transylvania Productions. He has gravel events in North Carolina and Pennsylvania, mountain bike events in North Carolina and Pennsylvania, running races, and gravel mountain bike stage races. That dude, he's telling me he has 21 events during the course of the year, and he just bought Blue Ridge Adventures and picked up some stuff in Pisgah to go along with that. So we specifically spent some time, though, talking about Holly Shelter, which is something that you've gone down. You and
Holly or Holy?
Holly.
Yeah, I've ridden it before.
You and Jess went down and rode it, right? Didn't you get lost in there?
No.
No? Okay.
What happened was, sorry, I got some good salsa.
It is good salsa. It's delicious.
We were doing like a 30-something mile loop. Unfortunately, we got like almost to the halfway point, and there's a road out.
That's what it was. I remember that now.
And then it was like try to figure out a way around that because it was getting late. We didn't have lights. We backtracked very quickly. Otherwise, it's in that kind of questionable place where there's probably alligators at the right time of the year.
Oh yeah, and hunting,
the swamp, and the hunting, and the amount of proud hunting folks that were just blasting down the road with shotguns while it's pretty cool. I think.
Yeah. Well,
you can go to a place like there's nothing like that around here where you can just stop off on the road and shoot some quail.
Yeah,
and have some dinner. But
no joke.
It's a lot like Croatan, just further south.
Yeah, we talked a lot about
It's very similar, and that's why we rode there.
Similarities, and
we could ride there from my friend Dan's house.
So we talked about Jake's Rock, which is a marathon mountain bike event in mid-July. Allegheny Forest Gravel Grinder, Pennsylvania, July 16th. Mid-State Gravel Grinder, August 5th, and then he has got the Transylvania Gravel Epic Stage Race. It's at the end of August 17th through the 20th. I think just coming off of the Transylvania Mountain Bike Epic Stage Race, which was
2 weeks. It was before Unbound.
Yeah, it was within the last few weeks. So
and Kerry Warner on his podcast, no, not podcast, his YouTube channel said that he had more that was very hard. Transylvania.
Yeah.
But he had more riding at Unbound than all his days at Transylvania together. But it's mountain biking versus gravel.
Yeah. Massive difference.
Because he went from that, and then it was that weekend wrapped up, and then he went right into Unbound. Everyone did that. So,
well, everybody, please stick around and enjoy this conversation with Ryan.
Yeah.
Joining me now is Ryan Fulton, who is the owner and race director at Transylvania Productions. Now, Transylvania Productions has gravel events in North Carolina and Pennsylvania, mountain bike races in North Carolina and Pennsylvania, running races, gravel, mountain bike stage races. You, Ryan, are a very, very busy guy. I want to thank you for taking the time to join us.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I'm almost too busy at times, but it's still a great time, though.
We were just talking through the in the pre-show, folks. We were talking about some things that you just bought, some additional. Tell folks what you just dived into this year as well.
Yeah, for some reason I thought it'd be good to add 10 more races to my portfolio, I guess you could say.
How many does that total now? How many does that bring it to?
That brought it to 24, and then there was 3 we had to cancel or postpone. Wow. I guess you could say. So it was, it's one of those, like I said earlier, a great opportunity and kind of a now or never. And I already had my 2024 schedule planned for Transylvania Productions, and then adding 10 events from Blue Ridge Adventures is the company name. It just kind of went from, the year would be pretty good to, okay, I'm not going to have time to even sleep this year. So,
wow. Tell. No, that was Blue Ridge Adventures that you bought, and a couple
Correct.
of those races. They're down in Pisgah. And what were the names of some of the races? So folks maybe connect some dots.
There's 10 events under the umbrella. There's 2 road rides. That's some of the ones that I postponed till 2024. I wanted to kind of get a better feel for them. You're putting people on roads, it's
Sure.
obviously not a safe thing. And I just didn't feel real comfortable, like adding one new event to your schedule is hard with the planning, but like 10 events that have been planned, but you haven't planned any of it was just like overwhelming, so, kind of scaled that back, at least for this year. But there's 6 one-day mountain bike races. We have 2 in June. That is Sasquatch Scrambler and Woods Mountain. We just had them like 2 weekends ago. Went very well. Next one's coming up is towards the end of July with Jerd Mountain Challenge and ORAM. That's in Old Fort, North Carolina. And then the other 2 are in November, Couch Potato and Swank 65.
Love that name, Couch Potato.
Yes. There's a joke for that. If you look on the website, it tells you that, you can come off the couch for this race, and it's really deceiving.
Okay.
It's actually my first race in 2017. I was riding for 3 months, and if you've ever ridden in Pisgah National Forest, it's not an easy place to ride.
No, sir, not at all.
I mentally quit mountain biking like 5 times that day during the race, and like
one day.
I was like, this is the dumbest thing ever. And then like I talked to a coach next day, and he's kind of like, you kind of jumped right into things racing in Pisgah Forest. And I was like, well, good. If this isn't like, I thought this was all mountain biking. I was just like, okay, I'm done with this stupid sport. But, fast forward 8-9 years or whatever it's been, it's definitely glad I stuck into it. And, the people are great. And, I love what, I guess, the career I've come into just from.
Yeah. How did you land? How did you land in the space? What's the backstory with Transylvania Productions?
To be honest, I don't even know. I mean, I grew up in Pennsylvania in the 90s, riding my bike like a lot of us probably did as a kid to get around town. Then I, kind of got out of that because I got my driver's license, and then I got big into volleyball up there. I guess fast forward 20 years later, I was moved to Myrtle Beach where I live now, got in the golf business, and then, got tired of golf trying to make a long story short here, and needed some kind of passion or, hobby again. I was like, well, I enjoyed, riding bikes and racing and stuff. So I kind of started riding, like I said, did a couple of races there with Couch Potato and some other things, and really enjoyed it. And then some reason in 2017, I don't even know how this even started. I just thought about putting a bike race company together, and a couple friends I knew in the area here were like, dude, it's a lot of work. And I'm like, how much work can it be? You show up, put some arrows out, but it's really, there's so much behind the scenes stuff that people don't realize. I love doing it, so I don't mind it, but
sure.
It's just, fast forward, I guess this would be my 6th year and like 5th year doing this full time now. If you had told me
it's
years
scale.
ago.
It's scale,
Yeah, for sure.
If you're going to do 1 and then do 3, and if you're going to do 3, then do 13, if you're going to do that, so it's one of those things that I would assume there's a lot of redundancy with regards to the planning and the operation and it's just scaling things up.
Yeah. And I'm the type, I don't like to think small, so,
yeah.
I definitely think big, and, which I think is a good thing. And, every year I'm never happy with the events, always trying to make them better. There's definitely, don't think any of the events are bad, but it's just one of those I always feel like they can be improved on, to make the experience for everybody better. So,
well, you've got, and I'm looking at the list of things, and with 21 of them, I mean, you just got through the Transylvania Epic mountain bike stage race. That was just a couple of weeks ago, correct? Towards the end of May?
Yeah, end of May. We do that. It's like Tuesday to Saturday, ending on Memorial Day weekend up there in central Pennsylvania, kind of the area where I grew up, actually.
Our good friend Dave Pryor, he sent me a bunch of pictures as he was suffering through that. He used that as the celebration, I guess, of his end of his master's program.
It was nice having Dave. You know, like I'm sure as you know, and other people know, like Dave was, Mike Kuhn was one of the original guys that I purchased the brand from, and then Dave came on there towards the end, the last few years as an assistant race director and helping Mike. Now I got my own staff with some other people that were involved with them as well. So it's kind of nice having Dave there. And
he told me how much he enjoyed it, riding it as a participant and not having those responsibilities of a director. So he thoroughly enjoyed it. I know.
Yeah, he was actually in the cabin right beside me there on the property, so we got to talk pretty much every night. And it's just like you said, it's nice to see people that built, like basically, him and Mike and the others that through the years were the ones that built it. I'm just trying not to screw it up, basically. So it was nice getting to see him there and enjoy what he helped create. So
you've got some events coming up, and out of that list, I'm just looking specifically at Holly Shelter, that's down in North Carolina. I know we've actually looked at going down there and just riding that. And I think Joey may have actually gone down at some point when he was headed in that direction. And I think him and Jess may have actually gone in there and just did some riding. Jake's Rock Mountain Bike Marathon. Now that's in Pennsylvania?
Correct. Yeah. Okay. Up, gets in between Warren, Pennsylvania and Bradford. It's kind of in the middle of nowhere, unfortunately. It's in the Allegheny National Forest. It's a great trail system. It's a newer system. I don't know when it started, but I feel it's some of the best in Pennsylvania, and I think a lot of people agree with that too.
Cool. Well, you've got a busy weekend that weekend because that's July. I didn't give the date. Holly Shelter is July 1st. Jake's Rock is July 15th, and then Allegheny Forest Gravel Grinder is July 16th. How do you do that?
Correct.
How do you do
We do some events like we have a Raleigh mountain bike marathon over like Harrisburg area. That's like beginning of April. We do a mountain bike and a run the same weekend. I mean, it helps there where it's the same routes. Okay. But like I was saying with, Jake's Rocks, and that kind of being, it's up Northwest PA. Like I said, it's kind of out in the middle of nowhere, but, it's definitely worth the trip. And, our numbers have been lower. So this year I was trying to help some things where we do 2 events on the same weekend, a lot more work for me, but, maybe helping people, that, there's definitely us out there that like to race mountain bike and gravel, and they can just come up and make a weekend of it. Or, if anything, it, helps with us on logistics, not having to go there 2 different times.
Now, do you have a lot of people that like that events that are back to back that'll double dip, that'll do the mountain bike and then the gravel the next day?
I'll say everybody's different. There are people out there that already signed up for both. Some are just, and I put a little survey out one time to get an idea on this. It's like, hey, would you come do both? Or, no, I'm a mountain biker only. No, I'm a gravel rider only. It was pretty kind of even. I mean, obviously we have some changeover in the two disciplines, and there's some that do both, some that do one or the other. So like I said, we already have some signed up for both. Some are talking about signing up for both. So just some are like, I gotta see what my fitness is like before I want to try to do that much in one weekend. But
probably a wise decision.
Yeah. So looking forward to seeing just obviously trying different things, seeing doing the one weekend. Like I said, the travel's far, but certainly worth it, I feel. And then, everybody, it's the mountain bike's in its second year for our, doing a race there, and the gravel will be the third year. And, everybody that's come have always liked it, never heard anything bad by it. So
what kind of numbers, what are your registration numbers? And I want to touch on Mid-State Gravel Grinder and then the big Transylvania Gravel Epic stage race that's at the end of August. That kind of rounds out your summer, so to speak. How many folks are there for Holly Shelter?
I think presently we're at like 150, about a week out.
I like that.
It's always kind of been in the 200 range. That's another one that's, it's right there on the coast, just north of Wilmington, North Carolina. So, you can only draw people from the west, obviously, compared to like if it's out like western North or South Carolina, and you have like 360 parameter to pull people from. So, I feel like that kind of hurts people. Again, at the travel, there's so many events out there. People don't like to, why travel 4 or 5 hours when there's a race an hour away kind of thing. So, it's 150. We usually have around 200, and then we're kind of limited on parking there too, which kind of hurts. So I usually keep the number at like 100, maybe a little over 200 each year, just for that reason.
Yeah. And what about Jake's Rock? What kind of numbers do you get for mountain bike events?
Last year, that one we had 112, I think, registered. The other mountain bike race, like I said, we do in PA. It's sold out the last 2 years. The day I opened the registration, and we've done anywhere from 200 to 300 for that event, depending on what the forest lets us do. Like I said, again, I think the travel is just what really hurts that event. I know like the Harrisburg race, most of the racers for that are from like Southeast PA. Again, Northwest PA for those people could be anywhere from a 4 to 6 hour drive. Obviously that's a whole weekend commitment compared to, 1 day go race and, home by supper kind of thing. So,
well, I kind of like the idea of traveling to an event, staying the night, riding the event the next day, staying again overnight. It's almost like instead of a long travel day wrapped around, with a bike event in the middle, you kind of get that community feel on the front end. You get the race, and then you get more community feel on the back end. It's just, I feel like the weekend gravel event is really coming into its own.
Yeah, for sure. The nice thing with that one there, National Forest has a couple campgrounds that are real close to the start finish. And we actually had a big group of probably 10 to 15 people from the State College area last year that came up for the mountain bike race. Just made a big weekend of it. So they had a couple camp spots that were like right beside each other. And we actually, after we were done cleaning up the event, went over there and had a little barbecue with them. So that was nice to be able to feel like a racer, I guess, for the weekend. And like I said with Dave, not always just like being the guy working and there from sun up to sundown. So,
well, where is Mid-State Gravel Grinder? Oh, that's on August 5th.
Yeah, that's in Phillipsburg, Pennsylvania area in the Moshannon State Forest. We actually host it out of a private regional airport for years. I've been trying to get them to let me finish the race on the runway, but they won't allow me.
Oh, that would be fun. A la Croatan, where you're finishing on the racetrack. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, I've been pushing for that, but the whole FAA shutting the airspace down, I haven't won that battle yet. But yeah, that would be kind of neat to be able to finish a race on the runway. Now we do parallel it on like the side road. I guess you call it like a service road that parallels the runway, but so we're kind of close to it, but not as cool as I would like it to be. But it's a great place there. I mean, last 2 years, it's going to be in its third year here in 2023. First year we had 300 people, sold it out, and then last year was I think like 275 or something like that. And we actually do a stage out of there for the Transylvania Gravel Epic as well. That's actually day 2. That's our one travel day we do for that event.
Okay. Talk to me about Transylvania Gravel Epic. That is August 17th to the 20th. And I noticed on the website you've got a 4-day and a 2-day. Did I read that right?
Yeah, correct. So it's basically the same thing as a mountain bike race, the Transylvania Mountain Bike Epic. We host it out of the Boy Scout camp, just like the mountain bike race. If people ain't familiar with that area, it's like 20 minutes east of State College, Pennsylvania, where Penn State University is. And there's Bald Eagle State Forest and Rothrock State Forest. When it comes to like mountain biking, there's probably 100 to 200 miles of trails in the 2 forests, and then gravel is just unlimited there. I bet you Rothrock has 100 to 150 miles of gravel roads, and then Bald Eagle, there's 300 to 400 miles of roads. I mean, it's just endless in those 2 forests.
Wow.
And then start and finish, like I said, 3 of the 4 days we start and finish at the scout camp. And then, like I said, the 1 day we travel over to Moshannon Forest where we do the mid-state race. A little longer drive, but it's well worth it. Everybody last year in the event didn't mind the 1 day, 1 hour drive to, place that has some just as amazing gravel, in my opinion. So,
Well, that kind of makes the idea of the stage race. I think you need at least a little bit of that travel kind of thing. It's kind of fun.
Yeah, it's very unique compared to other stage races around the country and the world. I mean, obviously to find that much trail or gravel roads that you can start and finish in one place is, I don't know if anybody else can even do that. So our case with the scout, it's a Boy Scout camp that's right in the middle of the two forests. So basically the days we start and finish there, we go left or right, and it makes it easier for us on logistics, just setting stuff up, and you're there all week. And then it's nicer on the racers and the participants to where we rent the whole camp for the week, and we can you can upgrade into a cabin or tent camping or vehicle camping is a clue with the registration. So it's basically like an adult summer camp for cyclists. So it's
with beer, an adult summer camp with beer.
Exactly. I mean, it just makes the experience better. We do breakfast and dinner in those events right out of the dining hall, and I bring in a caterer that cooks there on site. So we start in the morning, have breakfast, for those that want it. And then the races start each day. And then we have a dinner each night. And then after the dinner, we'll do the daily awards, and then we'll have a talk where I'll talk with, about what to expect the next day. And then, Carrie Warner has been giving us a pro perspective of the routes for the mountain bike. And then most likely we'll do that for the gravel this year. We haven't done, being the first year last year, he was still new to that, but he's won our mountain bike 4 times now and probably raced it 7. So he knows the trails a lot better than I do and can give a better talk than I can. So we've enjoyed having him there for that. So
yeah, he's a good guy. We've been working some back channels trying to get a time lined up to get him and both him and Kelly Catali on at the same time to actually do a little male female mountain bike kind of perspective of the Mid-Atlantic and what it looks like, what the scene looks like. So for your
good talk
for your gravel events, like for Holly Shelter, do you do multiple routes? What are the routes look like
one
there?
I just changed it this year. I used to have 3. Actually, all my events, all the gravel events, I had 3 distances, and then I've kind of changed them up for I do 2 distances.
It's
Sorry,
okay.
my dog.
No,
barking at a dog walking by.
We're very used to dogs on the podcast, so it's not a problem at all. In fact, we haven't had Blake's voice in a couple of weeks, so that's good. Everybody out there getting a little dog, little dog barking. They're bring them back to home. So Holly Shelter, we've got 2 routes this year. You said.
Yeah, so I changed things up. We did up to 100 miler, and then now we're just doing I think it's 32 and 55 miles. Which I think is going to be a little better, a little more better experience for people, I guess you could say. There's the bad thing with it being on the coast, and one thing I learned the hard way last year that hasn't happened. We had this one real long sandy section that was probably 8 miles in total. Now, it was fine the first 2 or 3 years I did it because it was always wet leading up into the event. But last year was really dry. So basically for 8 miles, people were riding on the beach, and it didn't go over so well. And it's just one of those, you don't think about it till it happens because it's, like I said, never happened the first couple years. So I took that section out, which kind of lost me some mileage. And again, I just felt like it was the new routes would be a little more user friendly and a little more enjoyable for everybody compared to 8 miles of ending the route on a sandy section. So
now with Holly Shelter, I mean it's on the coast, so it's flat. Everybody thinks, oh well, there's no elevation, but the fact is there's no elevation. That doesn't necessarily make it easier. We all know that. We've learned that. But would you consider? I mean, that sounds like with a 30-ish mile, that would be a great kind of get your feet wet kind of an event.
Yeah, that's definitely a nice starter race. Like you said, it's flat is deceiving in a way where you think it's going to be easier, but you're pedaling the whole time. Mm-hmm. And then, we have I live in Myrtle Beach, so I deal with this every time I ride, and I hate it. But there's usually a strong headwind somewhere that just takes your soul out of you. I remember I did a race down in Charleston area at the Swamp Fox gravel fondo from some friends of mine, and I think it's like 2 years ago. The last 20 miles just into headwind, and I just like was over it.
Elevation versus headwind, the age-old argument of which would you prefer, and which just literally is gut wrenching.
Yeah, it's just pros and cons both ways,
sure.
But they'll both get you. So
now for Jake's Rock, you do multiple distances there as well?
Yeah, that one, it's basically one loop that we'll do, or a loop that we do once or twice. So
okay.
Obviously the short course is one loop, and then long course they'll do 2 loops. I think there's like 30 miles total in that trail system. But the bad thing is, it's set up more for recreation than like a race, so the 30 miles, there's a lot of like parking lot, trails down to parking lot connectors or whatever. But, there's like a big loop in the middle that you can make about, I think it's like 15 or 16 miles that we use. And then, we start and finish it down at the Kinzu Beach, actually, or what they're calling a beach. There's a big reservoir there. It's beautiful. I mean, if you've never been up there, I'm one of those guys that like the kind of reservoir and hill
sure.
kind of views and stuff like that. So to me, it's a great place, and it's, allows us for great parking. Nothing like having a nice little dip in the water after a long day on the bike as well. So the beach right next door there is convenient for a lot of people. So
absolutely. Now, Allegheny Forest gravel grinder, multiple routes there. What does those route distances look like?
That's another change I just did. I feel like you put me on the spot here. I think the short course, when you're doing 21 events, it's hard to remember every single one. But yeah, I kind of moved
later on.
Yeah, I'll probably fail that one, unfortunately, especially with all the changes this year. But try to make the short series in like the low 40 range. So I feel like that one's 40 or 41 miles, and then the long, or what I'm calling the full series, try to keep that in like the low 70s. So I think that one again is kind of like 70 or 71 miles.
Yeah. And there's probably some elevation there with Allegheny Forest.
Yeah, there's a little elevation there. It's kind of deceiving in a way, I guess. There's 2 real big climbs that really throws it up. So it's kind of, if you like big climbs, that's definitely your kind of event. Even if, I guess it's one of those you just get it done and over with.
Yeah.
So like the most of the elevation on there is on those big climbs. The rest of it's pretty flat, which is nice, So, again, everybody's personal preferences, just what they like, Sure. I mean, so there's definitely some bigger climbs there. I think it's kind of in the typical 100 feet per 10 miles or something like that. So, or mile, sorry.
That seems like the Pennsylvania norm is 100
feet
per mile.
Pretty much.
100 feet per mile. You pretty much bank on it, count on it, and take it to the bank. Mid-state, you got multiple routes there. What does that look like?
Yeah, that's another one I just kind of rerouted this year. Again, changed it. We had 3 distances there before, and that was like a loop system. So there's probably like 70 miles of usable roads when it comes to like making a race route. So previous years, I think it was like 30, 50, and then like 100-miler. We had two loops there to make the long course. Everybody has personal preferences. Some people like loops, some people don't. It's just what you like. So with changing things this year, like making it 2 distances, I was able to do 70 miles basically of one-time use roads. Obviously going to and from the start finish, you'll go opposite directions on the same road, but We're not doing a loop system this year. So I think that'll be a little more enjoyable, and it's kind of took from what we did for the Transylvania Gravel Epic last year. That was like a 60-mile route of one-time use on the roads. So I think that went over pretty well, and it's kind of why I made that decision to get away from the loop there. So
it sounds like you put a lot of effort into, and I think people do appreciate the route when it's changed a little bit, and also when you can recognize those sections that just absolutely need to change. Like you mentioned that sand section at Holly Shelter. That's something that, I think people appreciate it. I think riders appreciate it, and it's always a little different, but it's kind of got that same feel. So you kind of know what you're getting into, but then you're also getting something a little bit different. So and there's a lot of lift with route planning. I know that.
Yeah, I have a couple of philosophies on, or whatever you want to say. Like I'm big on to listen to the riders. Like there's some people that do a lot of my events I've become friends with from the races, and like sometimes I probably get annoying to them to where I'm like texting them or messaging them like, hey, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? So like what I think is great, in my opinion, doesn't matter. I'm not the one paying and racing in the events, so I try to get a lot of different perspectives that I can, and see things. I'm not on the course obviously during the event, not riding it to know what the rider perspective is. So
Sure.
Like I try to reach out to people and like see when stuff needs to be changed, or if it's good, then don't, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, kind of thing. But obviously like the Sandy section last year was I definitely got some opinions on that one. So that was kind of like I better get rid of this or they're going to kill me next year. So
let's divide them up, because I mean Holly Shelter and then Allegheny Midstate and the stage racing. They're those three at the end versus Holly Shelter begin. They're much different bike needs. What kind of bike works best? What's the best setup look like for Holly Shelter? And then same question, sort of like on those last three. How does that differ for those Pennsylvania events?
Yeah, I'm one of those, like, I hate that question. Like, I'm not a big technical kind of guy. I'm
Sure.
like, I'm the guy in the bike shop that whatever's on the bike, I ride. And, like, it's also part of, like, I don't ride enough. I think this year I've ridden like 110 miles just because I'm so busy with the races. But, I think a lot of the events, especially like Holly Shelter, definitely Holly Shelter for sure. I mean, that setup, it's definitely going to be a fast course with it being flat, and most of the sand, or I'm sorry, not sand, but most of the road's going to be really well packed. So, like any kind of setup for like a fast event's the way to go there. Like not probably could go a little more slicker tires, thinner tires than what you may need for.
Yeah, I know. Like in Croatan, you ride slicks. You ditch the knobs. Because like you just said, it sounds like maybe they're a lot of the same style roads, and you ditch those knobs, drop that weight, slick the tire up, and go fast and go hard. Whereas
they're very similar. Like I did Croatan the race the first couple years when I could actually have time to race, but like the terrain's very similar there. So I like when I tell, like when people ask or something, like a lot of times I'm like, hey, if you've done the Croatan, if you've never done Holly Shelter, it's very, it's only like an hour and a half apart or something like that. So the terrain, they're both on the coast. So it's very similar, roads. The nice thing, they're both, I guess one's national forest, and then Holly Shelter is actually a game land that's owned by North Carolina, by the state. So the nice thing when we're in there, we only go in when it's non-hunting season. So it's actually, the game land's actually closed to vehicle traffic.
Oh.
Yeah, so that's really nice. Like the only vehicles being there would be anybody from the staff, or if like the game land officials would come in, which they never have during the event. And they take a lot of, I guess you could say, pride in their roads. A few times definitely last year, I think the year before, when I was out marking the course, they're out there like grading the roads, smoothing them out, stuff like that. So I don't think I've ever really gone in there and had, like bad trails or terrain, I guess you could say, or whatever. Like
the four-wheelers tearing things up, and that's what they do, and God bless them. That's what they love to do. So nothing wrong with it, but it still doesn't bode well for a bike to run through behind them many times. Sometimes it makes it fun, sometimes not so much so. So you got any event sponsors, regular event sponsors for any of them that you want to make sure to give a shout out to?
We got, more on the gravel epic. We have Stan's No Tubes is a big sponsor for us. Their main office is in New York, but they have a satellite office that's outside of State College. So just down the road from where we do the stage races. Cutaway USA has been our jersey sponsor for the last couple of years for that event. Or those two.
We're big fans of Philip. Philip does all of our kits, and yeah, we're big fans of Cutaway. Yeah,
it's a great product. I actually just put in the Gravel Epic order yesterday to him, so just talking with Philip. Yeah, he does a great job with that. The designs are great. Like, that's one thing, I'm not an artsy guy, so like, I leave guys like Philip like maybe a small direction, but like, if you want me to try to draw something or have some kind of idea of what I want designed, that's not a strength for me, which is
we do the exact same thing. The exact same thing. It's like, hey, we were thinking topo lines and some greens and some oranges and some blacks, and he comes back with something. And
yeah,
if there's any tweaking, it's typically just, hey, can we slide that logo over? Yeah, it's typically something minor. So
yeah, it was only a big one. I was like, we just made the design recently, and I was like, I have no idea where to go with this, but use these logos and maybe keep it kind of like what we've done before, similar. Yeah. And he gave me two options, and they're both so good. I was like, well, that looks good, but like, this one's nice. It's kind of like you almost flip a coin to see which one you go with. So
Philip was responsible for my introduction to cargo bibs, which I have a problem with him over that, because now I don't want to wear anything but bibs, cargo bibs. It's just so nice having that little pocket. You never would think you'd use something like that, but boy, does it come in handy. Just stopping at a convenience store, sliding your phone in your pocket. It's simple.
I've been wanting to buy those. I got a Clydesdale body. I'm 6'5", like 270. So like, me trying to find cycling apparel is very hard to get it to fit properly. So I just haven't got into that cargo stuff yet. I've been wanting to, but a lot of times companies they forget about the Clydesdale guys, unfortunately, and don't have things in my size, and trying to find shoes, and it's just a nightmare. Buying helmets that actually fit my head, not look silly.
Get Philip to hook you up with some cargo bibs, because then you will become like the biggest proponent of everybody needs to have these things, because it's just they're game changers, man. There's no doubt about it. He just does such a great job. So we appreciate Philip and all the effort that he puts to putting things together. So how can folks that are interested in any of your events find out more? Where can they go? I'm going to put links in the show notes so that people will be able to click on something. But a lot of folks, just want to jot something down while they're listening to the podcast. Where can they go to find out some more information?
Yeah, the easiest way, I guess, Bike Reg, we do all of our registrations on there, so they can go in there and, if they go to the main page, just bikereg.com, there's a search option at the top. They can just put in the race name. Or if they go to our websites, all our one-day races are on transylvaniaproductions.com. And then each race will have its own page with information. The stage races will have their own website, just because it's a lot more information, and trying to put it all together is just too much info and little space there, kind of thing. So that's definitely one way to go in there. The Gravel Epic is tscgravel.com. And like, if you get to one of the websites, if you go to the bottom, I have logos for each of the other events, or the Transylvania Productions. They can click on those logos to go to those websites. So it's kind of doing these many events. There's a lot of info out there. It's just a matter of finding it and getting to the right page, I guess. So, but it's
and read your notes on Bike Reg, people. I was just talking about that. It seems like every event organizer has the same thing. If people would just read the show notes, if people would just read the notes section of the Bike Reg page, then most of their questions would be answered.
And a lot of, I don't mind answering questions, but it's just, sometimes people, it's like the info is right there for you. I know, but nice thing with Bike Reg too, they have somewhere on there, I think it's at the top, it says like event website. There's like a little tab they can click on that, most directors probably put a link on there to go to the race page, to find more information. I try to, try not to overwhelm people with stuff, but I try to, obviously the website has, the maps on there for the routes, the schedule of the day, and, some other information, old results, pictures, videos we have from the events. And, I try to put that in the notes too. Sometimes it definitely can be overwhelming because there's just a lot of info to tell during a race, and, or people don't scroll through the whole thing and miss something, or
Sure.
But
With
definitely.
21 different events, it must be tough to keep all the socials for all those different places updated and operational and running. I'm sure a challenge.
Social media is a beast in itself. That's
Yeah.
probably one thing that I have a hard time keeping up with.
Sure.
I think I have the Transylvania Productions has its own Facebook and Instagram. The nice thing, the gravel epic and the mountain bike epic, I put them on the same social media to try to have a little less out there. And then now with Blue Ridge Adventures, it has its own Facebook and Instagram, and then Pisgah Stage Race, which is another mountain bike stage race that I have now. It has its own, which I feel like the stage races, like I said, they're their own entity in themselves, and a lot of information.
That's a different animal. I'm sure that's a
Sure,
much different experience than.
I mean, the thing is great. We're attracting people from all around the country and around the world to these events. So it's definitely has a lot more information out there, and like I said, deserves its own little platform on its own. So
Cool. Well, anything that our listeners should know that we haven't talked about with regard to anything going on at Transylvania Productions? Anything that we've missed?
I think we covered pretty much all of it. I mean, if you like kind of a series, doing events that are in a series, check those out. We got the Pennsylvania Gravel Series. There's 5 events in there this year, and I try to do year-long, prizes for the year. We got end of the year series prizes for the top 3 in each category. I do jerseys for the winners. We've had a leader jerseys the last couple years. I've been giving out, part of the year-end prizes. There's discounts to some of our stage races for the following year, and you can pick which one you want to go to. Just always trying to expand that and, give back. Obviously, it's not cheap to race, and definitely the stage races, they're expensive, but they cost a lot more to put on. So just trying to get, people interested in it more, obviously helping, discounts may help people to come that may not be able to come without them and things like that. So.
Well, cool. Listen, thank you, Ryan. I appreciate the time spent with us. And please come back again. Let's get you back on sometime in the future. Maybe we can get you back towards the end of the summer and talk about your fall events, because we didn't touch on any of the fall stuff yet.
Yeah, there's still quite a bit in the fall to go through as well.
Well, let's put it on the calendar then. We'll have you back, and we'll talk some about that fall stuff. But again, thank you very much for joining us. We appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
And we're back.
Oh,
that was a great conversation you two had.
Let's pretend like we actually just listened to it.
I did.
You want to do this or that? So I've done this or that in a couple of weeks.
I looked at the first one and I declined to read the rest.
Okay. Well, good, because the next two, the second and third one are specifically got you in mind with those.
Okay.
So, first one, steak or chicken?
That's pretty tough. What's your answer first, and then I'll.
I'm gonna go with steak if it's a good cut of meat.
Yes.
Chicken. I eat a lot of chicken. We eat a lot of chicken, and it's the whole red meat, white meat thing versus you shouldn't eat a whole lot of red meat, but man, when you do, you want it to be good.
Yeah.
And so you kind of crave that, but then chicken's like the mainstay, and I love chicken on the smoker.
I think it's a similar answer. There's some days where I feel like I could be like a pescatarian, and where you just eat fish and veggies, and then I get a nice ribeye, and I'm like, nope, false. That sucker better be rare. I think I've been more selective about my meats lately. Like I've been eating more organic, local chicken. I get very picky about my steak. I see what happens to steak nowadays.
Yeah.
Just typical grocery store meat. Like if me and Jess would rather have a really nice cut of steak once a month.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly.
And my friend Jackson has an organic farm, and I get a lot of my meat from him. He does not do beef, but most of my chicken. I got ground pork from the store tonight. Unfortunately, sorry, you ate Weiss beef, but I do get selective. I love most chicken over their steak on the burritos.
Yeah,
their flavor.
Yeah. I think people tend to do more stuff with chicken, with seasoning, because a good steak you shouldn't, nor
good steak you need salt and pepper.
Yeah, that's it. So, but with chicken, you can play around with that, and you can come.
I love playing with chicken. I love smoked chicken.
Yeah, I me too.
So it's 50-50.
Yeah, that was a tough one. That was tougher than I thought it was going to be.
If you haven't had like just farm organic whatever chicken,
oh, it's massively different.
God.
It's hugely different.
So good.
So
it's
different.
Worth. We did have. Hold on. Pause. Cut this out. Last night, so I was at Harris Teeter.
Anything out?
Well, I bought 20 pounds of pork to make sausage. I purchased Beyond Burgers.
Oh yeah, how'd that go?
I would eat it again, but I wouldn't like
seek it out.
Yes.
Did you really want me to cut out that you eat Beyond Burger?
No, I meant the pause in between. No, I'm okay eating Beyond Burger. I'm not. I've been making zucchini fries with panko or whatever on them, and we had Beyond Burgers. It was good. And it wasn't horrible. Like if someone gave it to me, I would eat it.
It's all.
But I want like a 70-30 hamburger.
All about flavor, It's honestly, it doesn't. It's all.
I
about
didn't
flavor.
do anything to it. I put a little cheese on it. I didn't even put I think a little Tony Sashry, a little Cajun seasoning would be good on it.
Good, yum.
And then I put the buns in the skillet, but I use people use mayonnaise and then they not as a seasoning, but they put it on the bun and then you toast it. I use Chick-fil-A sauce. And then I toast it in a skillet, so it's got a little hint of Chick-fil-A sauce.
Nice.
Anyway, that was a long list.
I was actually. We have to carry this over. We have to actually talk about this again.
Real quick though, on this or that, this YouTube channel, they do this or that, but it's would you rather drink sour stale milk or eat cat food? And in this office setting, they make the people do it.
Oh, they make them actually do.
But they don't realize they're going to do it at first. They go up to random people.
Oh no.
I don't know if it's staged or not, but I was like,
let's. Well, that would have been a tough one for us. Though. We'd have had to have good steak and some chicken.
I'd be down.
You have to have both. Okay. Would you rather go to a brand new inaugural event or return again and again to an established event?
I feel like that one in our wheelhouse should just be yes.
The answer should be yes to both.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah. Okay.
I like supporting the current events, but I like this. I like
that. This actually came out of my conversation last week with the Empire Gravel.
Yeah.
Because that's a new event, and it was he's keeping it small, and it just really felt how cool would it be to be a part of the first Unbound?
Oh yeah,
and to be the first this or the first.
I am upset I wasn't part. I didn't partake in the first Unpaved because I didn't. That's how we started half of the podcast. The first few episodes, I really bummed I missed this event.
Yeah,
I heard all about it. I had a couple. Gravel was not the same in 2018 as it was now.
When we started, you realize this? We've been doing this for 5 years now.
Yeah, I signed up for Unbound. I signed up for Dirty Kansas in 2016.
2016
for the 2017 year. No, it was early 2017, but I watched Ted King win it in 2016, and I thought that was the coolest thing in the world.
So tell me, what did you have to enter a lottery to get into 2017 like you have to do now?
I think that was the first year where it exploded, where it sold out in 2 minutes. I was actually on the floor throwing up in between signing up. Jess will never forget it, but it was actually 2015 Yuri Oswald won it in the mud year. Yuri Oswald has been this gravel idol of mine, and then watching Ted King do it in 2016.
Yeah, I talked to him.
That's so long ago.
I talked to Yuri Oswald at one point about coming on the podcast.
Yeah,
and
he's a busy man.
Never really circled.
He was always breaking a bone, or I think he still works for Goo and marketing. So
yeah,
I got my picture with him in 17, and I rode with him.
That'd be a fun one to have. And we still got to get Kelly and Carrie.
Yeah, together,
and
this took a turn.
Yeah. Okay, so I actually think both of those. It's probably not necessarily even both. This or that.
There is a special place for small events now because of so many big ones.
Yeah.
Where the few big ones I pick them because I love them and I love the people that put them on.
Yeah.
But I am going to pick Mammoth Gravel over Gravel Worlds.
Yeah, I enjoyed Gravel Worlds though.
Yeah, no, those events have their places and they push more stoke into the industry and people fired up. But
would I want to go back to do Gravel Worlds? One of the reasons that I wanted to do Gravel Worlds, because I think I was the person that started all that last year, was I wanted to do Midwest gravel.
Yeah, it's
I
different.
wanted to do like a big event in the Midwest, and that one seemed to kind of fit the bill.
You got to check it off the list.
You could sign up for it, and you didn't have to do the lottery thing and all that other stuff, and it was just kind of cool.
I don't want to say I didn't mind, but it's not even the same in 2017 it is now. Watching like
Yeah.
the Unbound and I think the what is that, the day before the like festival.
Like the thing they do in Emporia with the whole
At
yeah
the time it seemed big. It's nothing now.
Yeah.
Or that was nothing compared to now.
what it is now.
Not saying I would do Mammoth because of climate, but you know what I'm talking about. Like those events are needed desperately.
So third item, as a mechanic, coming at it from a mechanic's perspective, and I can actually bring this to the table too because I was after in my college days. I worked in a bike shop.
Back in the day,
I turned wrenches on bikes.
The wheels were wood.
Yeah.
You didn't break spokes back then, did you?
It's because they were made of steel. As a mechanic, would you rather work on a brand new, just off of the showroom floor, Walmart department store bike, or a beat up, clapped out, poorly maintained name brand bike with quality components?
I would default to being the manager that day. I rarely work on bikes anymore. Last week I played mechanic for 2 days, and I got so behind on managerial stuff. It wasn't funny. I don't know.
It's a tough call, isn't it?
So there was a business model, and some shops still do it. And it's diverting from your question a little bit, but this is all this or that tonight. You'll find skilled mechanics working on the lower end department store stuff because they're so much more finicky versus getting a new kid that will work on a newer, a new bike build, like Ultegra level. They're just meant to be perfect and work right.
Right.
Versus that department store bike is finicky and it takes a lot to get it to where it needs to go and understand the boundaries of the components.
Gotcha.
So there's something rewarding. I don't know, like the department store bikes get people into the sport, and I feel like a lot of people get ripped off, and I can't give away my time, so I do have to charge.
And then when they get a bill that's more than the cost,
they get a bill that's more than the bike. But if it gets them rolling, and you see them in 6 months because they want to like pursue the sport,
and I guess
it's cool.
Enough visits to the shop when you go, well, yeah, that component is only meant to go 300 miles, and then it's designed to fail.
Because right from the get-go, they've already had a bad experience because they all got a bike, and now they got to take it somewhere to get fixed before they ride it.
Before they even do anything with it.
So it's kind of up to the shop to set the tone for like getting people to ride bikes. Like,
now, I'll tell you where this question came from. Do you follow Seth Bike Hacks? It's Burn Peak now. Burn Peak.
Technically, I never followed him. I couldn't stand him.
Well, I
know you like him.
I like him. I
know a lot of people like him
because I like it mostly because his videos are just so well done.
Yeah,
the quality of the production is on point. Whether you like that guy or not, the quality was. And I
think now it's just jealousy because he's turned into some hack channel to like.
Oh yeah,
his living. It's not jealousy. It's like he does really cool.
It's if you haven't caught up with it in a while, but he did a video where I guess Walmart has a mountain bike out now. That's a $400 Ozark Trail, their brand.
God.
And he reviewed it and said, this is actually a really good starter bike.
Yeah.
You're going to have to, like you just said,
people in the door.
You're going to have to upgrade your components. But it was almost like his takeaway was, I feel like Walmart in particular has been watching what some of the things people have been saying about their bikes.
Finally.
And they're actually working towards making them something. Now, it's not something it's not the same caliber. It's not the same quality. It's not anywhere close to what you're going to get from a Specialized, Cannondale, Salsa. It's just not there. But will it get your foot in the door?
Oh, yeah.
And then give you some level of I think one of his big things was you can upgrade it. You could then now take
it's not like
bike.
disc brake in the front and rim in the back. Because they used to do that.
No, they're all.
They still do that on some of them.
It's all. And one of them actually, even one he was talking about had microshift on it.
That's not bad.
But his point was, this will get your foot in the door, and then you don't have something that you have to throw away. You can now take this to a bike shop and have them look at it and go, okay, well, yeah, we just need to replace this derailleur. We need new brake, rotors. You need new whatever. So it's just interesting. It was.
Well, that bike will come down to if it's assembled properly.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
Because
what happens.
when he got it, he was looking at the hand. He was like, I didn't realize that handlebars could be put on wrong in 3 different directions. So anyway, just an interesting thing to point out. And I do think at the end of the day, sometimes that can be good if for an actual, I don't want to say a real bike shop, but for a bike shop, if somebody can go to some place and pull something off the rack, find out if they like a sport, and then have a platform that they can upgrade. And then once they've gone through that upgrade cycle, then they can invest. It's just another baby step into
like
the
the Dick's
sport.
Sporting Good kayaks.
There you go.
I don't hate on them because
Yeah.
they're disposable. They last a little bit, just like a department store bike. It's just disposable.
Mhm.
You know, the parts sometimes cost more than the bike.
Right.
But
Yeah, I mean, I know we
you either like it or you don't. And then
on boat anchors.
Yeah.
You know, the only thing that was good for at this point right now is as a boat anchor.
they pay the bill sometimes.
Yeah. So anyway, interesting though. Would you rather use the U.S. Postal Service
God.
or send a fax?
I'd rather send a fax.
Really? A dated fax, and you have
Yeah,
no
why
idea
not?
whether it got there or not.
I would take someone's stationery and send them faxes from the future.
I just don't know. Can you really trust a fax anymore?
Uh,
What's the difference between a fax and just putting an attachment on an email? What is it about fax that's
I think it was cool
back in the day?
back in the day. I actually don't. I have no hate on the postal service. FedEx
No, I
can
don't
kick
either.
rocks right now
Yeah.
down here. I know like every area has different. Like some people hate UPS and love FedEx. Our area is postal service is UPS. My driver and the people are amazing. I don't know what FedEx is doing down here.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. I had a Garmin order get declined 5 days in a row. And it said we declined it from FedEx. I was like, we didn't decline any of it. And the lady's like, I have it on my truck. And then she didn't. I filed a claim. A week later, the vet brought it to us. This is like 10 days after it was supposed to. I was like, why did the vet have it? And we're not next door to the vet anymore. We're half a
No.
mile away.
That was nice of them to bring it to you.
Yeah.
Somebody didn't just go, look, I can do Garmin watch for
I
me.
know.
Sell that on
Yeah,
eBay.
poor Gabe Murray, Mr. Patience himself. Like, the waited a year for his bike was. I was like, yeah, I'll have this next day. Nope.
So my only problem with the post office is their tracking sucks.
Oh, it's horrible.
You know, because you can't go on the like you with UPS and some of these
Washington,
others.
D.C. Network Center
Uh-huh.
around here.
Yeah,
It'll chew you up and
see
spit you out.
They will actually. I almost feel like sometimes there's like a little live cam on the package with like some of that Amazon stuff,
Yeah.
and then something goes, "Oh God, it came through the postal service," and you have no idea when it's going to show up. It says, and then it just randomly it surprises you and pops up.
It's horribly okay.
So before we shut this down, I know that you put out a call a few weeks ago for Lucky Leprechaun tattoo idea.
Oh yeah, you found them.
And no, I made them.
You made
I made some. I am.
It was very artistic of you.
I am exploring, and I will share. I'm exploring Mid-Journey.
Maybe I'll put these on the Instas tonight.
Oh, you should put them out there, and then I can tweak those, and I can come up with completely different ideas.
So I need to grow my hair back out for a lot of them, though.
A lot of them had the long hair.
Yeah.
I could have the hair short. So anyway, I'm playing with Mid-Journey, which is a Discord prompt-based image generator AI. I don't even know how you put all those words together, which will eventually someday take over the world.
Probably.
I'm sure.
Cyborgs will take over with all this AI.
But it's crazy what you can do with that once you've learned how to use it. So I created and generated some little leprechaun tattoo ideas for you. So just to kind of like maybe kickstart that process again, because we need our listeners to respond. I know that some of them had some ideas with that. So if you're so inclined and you're autistic enough,
Artistic.
Did
You say autistic?
I say autistic.
There's some very talented autistic people
I didn't mean to
with
say
that can draw and
I
paint
did not. I apologize. I
artistically.
did not mean to say that. If I probably just was getting excited and it sounded.
But that word on autistic, the best customer service rep for crap. I forgot the wheel company. He was an autistic gentleman and could recite every model number of every part for a 10-year span of a wheel brand. And it wasn't Mavic. Crap. I think it was Fulcrum. I don't know. I love that man.
It's like a human catalog.
Yes.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah, I would. It was so cool talking to him. But anyway,
All right, you want to shut this thing down?
I will say Jess will be back next week. She's on a St. Jude call. We did celebrate our anniversary last Thursday.
Mhm.
A nice dinner.
Nice.
She brought me a new bike.
Did she really?
No.
I never know. I don't. Am I supposed to know?
No. I think we'll be back to normal next week.
I do want you know. I know that she had been talking to Kelly and Carrie, trying to line that up.
Yeah, we'll figure that out.
So encourage her to kind of circle back on that, and let's because that'll be a really cool episode. We could just sit quietly and let them all.
Yeah, I'll eat some more of this salsa.
We'll just sit and eat salsa.
I will say my old fashioned is out of my Dirty Kitten mug.
Let me see that.
Actually, it's Jess's mug, but
Where'd that come from?
Cat Camp.
Ah,
Love this. It's a Camelback mug.
That's nice. Mm-hmm.
It's either this. I got a titanium Stanley mug.
Chris and Alex, we need to get them one sometime.
Oh, we were supposed to do something in person.
They are talking about coming down. Maybe we could. No, I don't want to do anything.
Chris still wants. I cut my hair. I don't know if Chris still wants to talk to me. Anyway,
Not.
Sorry, it's gonna be a long episode, everyone.
That's
now
fine.
that you made it this far, oh well.
Yeah, just stick around. We're almost done.
Yeah,
We're
just started whining. Let's
almost finished. Thanks for listening, everybody, to this episode of Mid-Atlantic Gravel, Travel, and Dirt. If you've enjoyed the podcast, come on over to the website. Click around. What's that website address that they can go to click around at, Joey?
Ask Jeeves.
Click around and
go
find
to Ask
out.
Jeeves and then type in graveltraveldirt.com.
I wonder if Ask Jeeves is still a thing. You look that up. So
yeah, our Instagram is at Mid-Atlantic GTD. But if you go to Ask Jeeves, you can type in Gravel Travel Dirt.
So I had somebody trying to hack my Instagram today. Somebody was trying to get in it, and then Instagram sent me a message and told me to change my password and all kinds of stuff. Like I dodged a bullet. Because that's my livelihood. My Instagram.
Still, it's kind of like it's a website.
It's a website. Oh, it's ask.com.
Yeah.
Is it questions or is it like a search engine?
It's when I go to Google on my phone now, I get articles and stuff. It's kind of like that.
Okay.
Like, what is Groundhog Day and why do we care?
I use DuckDuckGo, so that's my go-to search engine.
How to intermittent fast, high school review, Tinder, indie, look at 90s teens, 90s, yeah. 13 films that capture Hispanic American experience. Ask.com might be up for your alley.
Yeah. I wonder how many of those articles have images that are associated with them that are AI generated. Probably all of them now.
All of them.
We're only going to be able to know what AI wants us to know anymore.
Here's one that could be, hello, I'm Johnny Cash, facts about Man in Black. This could be an AI picture of Johnny Cash for all we know.
I bet it is.
Heck yeah.
Okay.
The more you know.
Everybody, thanks for riding along. And until next time, avoid AI, do good, be nice, go slow, respect others.
Love you, bye.
Love you, bye.